Oh my God! I'm like a kid on Christmas morning. Couldn't wait for Santa to come. Look, first thing is this: for any WWE fan that says all I ever do is crap on their product, get your pencils out because history's ready to be made here tonight. For anybody, and I got to say this in a jokingly fashion. I've defended my business and my career and my character for a long time. But for anybody in mainstream press to feign that they're so pissed off, so taken back, so just blown their minds that Donald Trump did this horrific video of him clotheslining who was Vince McMahon with a CNN logo on his face. Tremendous. I can't even say it without laughing at it. It's so damn good. To say that he's calling for violence against journalists with that I got to step back and I got to ask myself, is every journalist in America just a fucking idiot? Honest to God. I mean, that is insanely crazy to me. Everybody's been able to compartmentalize professional wrestling. Some maybe more so than others, some maybe less so than others. But I haven't met a sentient, intelligent adult that had believed professional wrestling or some meme of professional wrestling portended actual violence against a certain group. So when I would come out and say, Taz, I'm going to kick your ass, is that saying that I'm calling for violence against every Italian American in the world or every person of Italian descent? When Taz said he was going to kick my ass, was he portending violence against every German immigrant someplace around the world? It's goddamned insane. And for anybody to portend that and put that out as if this is some kind of legitimate news story ought to be ashamed of themselves, because this is the most ridiculous thing I've heard to date, and I'm sure there's more coming, because we've now reached a point where what's next? Cecil and Beanie, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, HR Puff and stuff. Sooner or later, they're going to become an evil bastard and all this too. I mean, we've reached an insane point that where Vince McMahon, the first time I saw it, I laughed my ass off because I thought it was a hilarious video. And, then you start seeing CNN and PMS, NBC, and, all the mainstreams are, feigning this, oh my God, president's calling for violence against journalists. Well, I would ask those same people, were you then not calling for violence using your same litmus test against Donald Trump supporters like me from the time he's been elected and before? I'm a deplorable, and all the things that I've countered on with Donald Trump, agreeing with him, countering the CNN and the PMS, NBC, and all the mainstream outlets, which, this is the place that scares the daylights out of me, guys, because as you know, I've taught this stuff, and I'm one of the few nerds on the planet that find politics interesting and compelling. But when you start saying that me, with all my education, I'll spend 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes online trying to discern if something I'm reading or seeing on CNN or MSNBC or reading in the New York Times or the Washington Post, is this an accurate story? And unbelievably, I often find that it's not. Aside and on top of what I already know about where President Trump stands and things. Now, that all said, I do want to put a preface on this, and if we can insert it at the beginning of my comments. I think President Trump's comments personally about people are a little bit over the top. I come from a pretty outlandish background in professional wrestling, so I don't take it too overly serious, but I can understand how somebody on the outside could. But that said, I also can take a step back and see that we've seen a president attacked as no other president in the history of this country has been attacked. I've heard him called Adolf Hitler. I've heard him called Benito Mussolini, Joseph Stalin. Recently on CNN, somebody called him Kim Jong-un. And with all due respect to everybody in their opinion, Donald Trump hasn't killed 6 million Jews. He hasn't started a world war that killed 70 million people, or eradicated, like Joseph Stalin, estimates of 25 to 50 million people. He hasn't been threatening the world with nuclear weapons like Kim Jong-un. So I would say to anybody that makes those kind of comments, you sound like a fucking idiot saying that. Uneducated idiot to say that kind of a comment. You can disagree with his policies. That's fantastic. That's fine. That's part of the First Amendment. But to come out and say that, and call him names like Adolf Hitler and the rest of it is so childish, so beneath America, and so demeaning to the presidency of the United States that I got to chastise all of them. I can't agree with one of them other than to say they have their right to their opinion, but sometimes I find opinions repugnant, out of date, and completely unintelligent.